When it comes to food and wine pairings, you always want to consider how the flavors of the dish impact the taste of the wine. And there are many different food flavors that can either be broken up into wine heroes or wine villains. So in the last part of the series, I already talked about how these wine heroes are food flavors that ultimately make your wine taste better. However, in this video, I'm going to talk about the wine villains and how they essentially make your wine taste worse. So when it comes to savory and sweet flavors, those are what I like to consider primary wine villains because they directly impact the taste of the wine, which essentially is to diminish some of the more favorable and tasty qualities in a wine, such as fruitiness and sweetness. Additionally, you have food flavors such as bitterness and flavorful that I like to consider secondary wine villains because they can easily mask or overpower some of the subtle notes in the wine. For instance, foods that are bitter and flavorful have a level of complexity to them that really can only be paired with a wine that's equally as complex. And usually the way a wine gets its complexity is through tannin. And yes, the major source of tannins typically comes from grape skins, which is usually associated with red wine, just based off of how red wines are produced. But tannins can also come from a process called oak aging, which is very common for most red wines, but is also seen in some white wines such as Chardonnay or Viognier. So if you have a food such as steak that is highly flavorful and savory, having a wine with tannins, whether that's from the grape skins or oak aging, will be perfectly suitable for pairing with your steak.